do. And that's the reason I say, and sometimes I tick people off, lots of times I tick. When Shelby asked me to take this job, I said, Shelby, you know me, I'll take off half the town. No, it's more like 80% now. But the matter is that I'm still going to do what I think is correct for the entire town and the future. And the future of this town, just like you said, broken window syndrome, when you've got trash on sidewalks 6 days a week, you got a recycling plant that is terrible, you got trucks like Ms. Brenner said out there that sit there with this, that are outside the city limits, and you sit there, you're frustrated, and you realize that town board, that truck's sitting there, but it's outside town city limits, and I can't do it.
No, this is in town.
One of them is.
No, several of them are.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
but it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But again, the hardest things that we've had to do is because, well, that's the way it's always been. And it hurts. I'm sorry, boss. I went off on my...
Well, I think Tom said it very well. I think it's pathetic when you can't walk to the park at night and feel safe, when you've got drop-offs that tall, that high. Somebody ought to sue the town for unsafe sidewalks. But I think a lot of folks will say, well, I don't care. A lot of people say, well, I don't care about that. That's not my problem. Well, of course it isn't. It's nobody's problem. It's just there. And my neighborhood's okay, so why should I worry about the town? I live in Bechtel Edition. It's nice and comfortable, and
They don't have sidewalks.
that's not my problem. It's not my problem if there's trash cans all over town, because we don't do that on my street. But when folks drive in here and look our town over, they see some of these things and they say, I'm not at all interested in buying a house or buying property there to build a house.
You know,
That's amazing.
I grew up in this town, okay? I live outside of this town, but it's still in my heart,
Same
okay?
here. That's why
It's still in my heart. I grew up on the same street you did. I watched you drive in at night. You know, man, I wish I had a car like that. Oh, it's got all kinds of lights on it and everything. But you could roller skate on our sidewalks.
And you know why, Frank? One of the things we're changing. Someone passed an ordinance many years ago that said the property owner's responsible. You know, never should have been done.
Well, most of them dug up their sidewalks and threw them
Well,
away.
absolutely, because the property owner's son. Now, what's going to happen right now if we say we're going to enforce that? You think we're taking heat over this trash? You know, yeah.
69, wasn't it? They gave it back to
But
them.
Yeah,
you
69, they
understand.
give it back to the owner.
You understand the
Yeah,
concept.
Totally, right?
Which is
100%.
exactly why, and sorry, Mr. Cornelius left, and Mr. Connor wants to bash on me because I don't live in town, and that's true. It would not affect what I would pay for water, because I do not get the town's water. We do not pay the city taxes and all that. However, I grew up in Odon. This
Sure.
is my town. I drive through here, and I'm ashamed of the trash. Yes, I got the recycling program going, and it is a mess, but you know why it's a mess? Because people use it a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not, and people throw their trash there because they're lazy and they don't want to pay for their trash.
Yep.
So I'm sorry that I live outside of town and I care about it. So sorry.
But it's gonna cost some folks 11 or 12, maybe $13
Because they're going
a
to have to
month.
actually do their part. I'm sorry about that.
Totally agree.
But
Yeah.
And you know, I wanted to help a lady in this town, and she had things wrong for a lot of years. Okay? She was living up until January on $236 a month. She's for this trash. You know, 230. I don't know how she did it. And I turned around and I said, you don't have to worry about your bill. I'll pay it personally. And that's the thing that bothers me when I get people complaining. And she says, you mean to tell me they'll take it and take it out of my garage? I said, yes, we've got to pick up, and that's going to be a requirement.
And my mother's 84 on a fixed income. She has no problem paying for her
Absolutely.
trash. Doesn't complain about it a bit.
Yep.
And yet we have people who are much younger who are able to pay it, and they're the ones complaining about it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a really sad society.
And, you know, And
So
ginger.
let's just have trash.
No, we're not. We're not.
My comment before I leave is that, yeah, you'll ram this down our throat, Tom.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna cost me probably over $500 extra a year,
Yes, sir.
and you don't care.
I care for the town, Henry.
Yeah,
I care for the town.
well, my place never had trash out
That's
front of it,
correct.
but now it will have. You'll have to see a trash thing. I've been here 33 years, and it's never bothered me to see what's set out on the streets. It never has.
Well,
I keep my place clean.
Henry, I still think I'm doing right. John thinks he's doing right. And we're going to try to do what we think is right. And it's for the betterment of the whole town.
I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying it's just on the road of taking rights and freedoms away from people in this
It's the
town.
entire country's that way.
I
Go
know.
to any other
Did you
town.
read my letter, Tom?
Yes, I did. I read
Do
it.
do you know that you're probably playing right into that Agenda 21?
No.
Don't even know it.
No, I totally disagree, Henry, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree. I have no problem with that.
Actually, trash has been around for a long time. It's nothing new. It's been in nearby cities and towns for as long as I can remember. I mean, it's not reinventing a new wheel.
Here
It
it used to
is
be
a-
a smoking cauldrons.
A cost of, this looks sort of like not everybody having septic systems. You're getting a good education here in cities, right?
Whether you
And
want
it's
it
not
or
really
not.
this hostile, normally, young man.
Aren't you glad you went first?
Aren't you glad it was me that started it all?
Council, may I say two things? The first thing is that
All right,
2011, when I came in to fill the appointment, I had to meet with the DGLF. They are the ones that gives us our budget order and stuff. I met with Ken Chatton and I said, how can we have $5,000 to run the park? What do we do? What can we do to increase this? And her response was to me, well, you do things like mandatory trash pickup. And you guys did not know that she said that when you guys started this, but that is one thing that they said that we could do to increase our revenue so we can do things, other things. That's my first statement. My second thing is, I will say in the beginning, we had people come in this office and me and Shakira was like, oh gosh, what are they gonna say? Because there was a lot of people against it. There was a lot of people against this. But within the past 2 months to 3 months, I have people come in and say, when are they going to do this? I now am changing my mind. I am for this. I voted, I put on one of these that I said no, I do not want this. And now I'm saying, please change my name and change my mom's name to a yes instead of a no. I just want you guys to know that. You know, it used to be the people were against it, spoke up, and I had nobody speaking up for it. Now the table has turned to where people are for it
Thank God.
instead of against it. And they are saying, change my,
Vote.
my whatever, yeah. So I just wanted you to know that.
You know, I think it's interesting that you're accused. I know none of you claim any political affiliation, although I do know that you all got ours beside your name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know, it's interesting that a Republican-controlled legislature in Wyoming just raised the gas tax by 10 cents a gallon in that state. They didn't need the 4 Democrats that are in the legislature to even vote for it, but they all voted for it anyway, 100%, to raise everybody's gas tax by 10%, by 10 cents, higher than the federal standard is. So, you know, you gotta get money someplace.
Yeah. And
And sir, the money is dwindling.
that's the other thing we talked about. Talking to Doug about his overtime and things like that, and he said, well, we didn't have this problem before. I said, no, you didn't. You had a good budget. Now we don't. You know, it's just that simple.
Well, you gotta terminate your legal fees too.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, you shouldn't be shoveling that out. Of course, there'll be a lawsuit coming down the pipe because of the sidewalk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, whatever happens, they won't be looking at me because I'm still thinking on that sign there, but you try to work together, you try to get the job done, and you try to make things better for the town. And once in a while, you get these things that crop up for some reason because of somebody's ego, and you think, why, you know? You pitch in and volunteer on a committee, park committee, cleanup committee. There's lots of things people can do rather than be negative.
I was on the park board once. You threw me off.
And that's the other thing.
Didn't wonder why.
But you know, if this town, if everybody, if 100% of people said, we want a swimming pool, we want one, we're willing to pay for it, we don't really care what it costs. We couldn't put it in the budget and build a pool.
No.
The state would turn that down instantly. So you can't we can't build sidewalks where they're safe for people and little kids to walk on. We can't do that. Well, it would be knocked out of our budget the very first thing.
So you gotta find different ways to do it.
Ah,
And the other thing is that the hardest thing for me to understand, I've always been one to say, okay, Brian and I disagree on something. Hey, it's not personal, just the way I think, the way he thinks. But boy, let me tell you what, some people, you disagree with them, you've made an enemy for life. Yeah. And it's,
You just read too much.
that's it.